Coming to you from the mountains and the plain, the only conservative voices brave enough to push back. This is the Conservative Daily Podcast with Joe Otto.
That's what the Second Amendment was designed to do. If you're going to do something to nullify or take away my rights under the Constitution, come get it.
Max McGuire.
When you look at politicians on the left, they need to convince people that they are victims.
A resistance to the resistance. And now your hosts, Joe Otto and Max McGuire.
And welcome back to another edition of the Conservative Daily Podcast. My name is Max McGuire. Joe is not feeling well, so he is out today. Standing in for him is friend of the show, Keith Jones. Keith, how's it going?
I was going to say super, but it's not. It's not.
It's not. We have a lot to go through. This podcast has kind of been a long time coming, and we got fact-checked yesterday. One of the stupidest fact-checks we've gotten yet. We're going to talk about that. We're actually going to spend the entire show today fact-checking the fact-checkers, which I think will be actually pretty fun because these people present themselves to be the total arbiters of truth, and they're completely full of shit. Sorry, I said it. I cursed. I cursed. We have to put the explicit.
It's up already.
The explicit on the podcast today. But honestly, these people are full of shit. They are partisans masquerading as independent fact checkers. We'll go through and show just how many of the Kamala Harris fact checks this organization, LeadStories, dropped yesterday. They're not independent. They're not. The fact that they fact checked us for saying that Kamala Harris is not technically African American, but they had no problem with Joe Biden saying you're not black if you don't vote for him, is the biggest BS I've ever seen. So we're going to get throttled in this video. We're going to see our reach decline because they fact-checked us yesterday. So we really do need everyone to hit the share button, like the video, and leave some comments in the comment section. So we're going to get right into this. But before we do, I have to mention that, again, our podcast day is being sponsored by an organization called ACE Scholarships. ACE Scholarships is a school choice organization, a pro-school choice organization that provides children of low-income families with scholarships to private schools in grades K through 12. ACE Scholarships was founded in 2000 with a vision to give every child access to a quality education and has since awarded over 42,000 scholarships across 8 states. If you want to learn more about ACE Scholarships and learn how you can help them with their school choice mission, which is very important now in the age of the coronavirus, please do visit their website, www.acescholarships.org. And we have a link in the description if you want to check out their annual luncheon. Okay, we're going to get right into this. We're going to talk about the fact check that we received yesterday. I'll read a couple of the emails that I've been getting back and forth with him. Incredible. Keith, I think about this.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. We're going to talk about the macro issue of this happening, right? But yeah, for those of you that don't know, when your articles and when your comments, when your photos and stuff get fact checked, you can only get so many of these quote unquote strikes before either your page gets removed, right, or your reach is dramatically reduced, right? This is basically a simple way for Facebook and other tech companies to silence viewpoints that they don't agree with. And the general rule in business, right? There's two things, right? You either accept all competition, free market, right? Free market of ideas, you accept all competition that's coming in, right? But the problem is, there's the other school of thought is, if you can crush competing ideas or competing companies before they can get started, right, then you have less competition. So the challenge right now, right, and that I want everybody to think about is a page like ours, a company like ours, right? We're not a giant tech conglomerate like Facebook. Right? We're not a giant tech conglomerate like CNN. We're not a giant broadcast network like MSNBC, right? Or ABC, or even Fox, right? We're just a small outfit of people who have a passion, right, for what we do. We have a passion for the American people. We have a passion for ideas. Yeah. And anybody can come to our site And you're free to call in, and people have, right? You're free to comment in the comment section. We'll respond to you. We love ideas. We generally don't like to play this tit for tat stuff, these games that get played. We like having conversations about ideas. When we get fact checked like this, right? The whole point of this, and we're going to go through it, but the whole point of this is to silence our ideas, right? Remove a source of information from you, the listeners. Right? Take it away from you before we get big enough that our ideas can actually permeate further than they currently are. It's important that you share this video because Facebook is not going to let us out of jail today, right? Because we were fact checked on something that we were factually correct in saying.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that my audio is a little choppy. We're getting our tech people to try and fix it. Let's go through it. Let's go through the fact check yesterday. And Keith, is my audio coming through fine now?
Yeah, you sound beautiful.
Okay. So hopefully this works. Let's talk about the fact check we received yesterday. Let's go ahead and put up image number 6. This is what we put on our Facebook page 2 days ago. Fact check: Kamala Harris's parents are Jamaican and Indian. She is not African American. Those are 2 factual statements. I mean, I understand that people argue over what constitutes an African American, but those are factual statements. You can back those statements up with facts to justify why you believe that. Traditionally, African Americans have been people who could trace their lineage back to slavery in the United States. It's the reason that when someone comes to the United States from Africa as an immigrant and becomes an American citizen, they're typically not referred to as an African hyphenated American because it doesn't make sense. It's confusing. Kamala Harris's parent, her dad, is Jamaican. Her dad's Jamaican. He immigrated to this country. She is of Caribbean heritage, which makes her black. But based on the definition I just used, it does not make her African American. And you can see at the bottom of our post, go ahead, put up image number 6 one more time. Image number 6, you can see at the bottom where it says, false information checked by independent fact checkers. Right. Let's go ahead and put up image number 7. This is why they said it's false. They said we cannot say that Kamala Harris is not African American because fake news. Kamala Harris is an American black. Did we say she wasn't black?
Oh, no.
Did we say she wasn't black?
No. No, we didn't.
I'm confused here. Let's go ahead and put up. Image number 8. This is the fact check. They fact checked somebody else. Another page that said Kamala Harris is not black. And they wrote, is Kamala Harris not an American black? I've never even heard that. Keith, have you ever heard anyone refer to themselves as an American black?
No, I've never heard that. I've never in the long years of my existence on this earth have I ever heard that. No, this is the first time.
All right, in the comment section, I want everyone to comment, have you ever heard anyone refer to themselves as an American black? Yes or no, put your comment in the comment section, because I've never heard it. I've never heard it. I know all of the different words that people have used to describe African Americans. Many of them are very unsavory, very racist in today's language. I've never seen someone say, oh, you have really nice skin complexion. What's your heritage? Oh, I'm an American black.
No, I've never in my life heard that. Never.
What? No, I mean, we can joke, but the saying is not American black don't crack.
It's not a real thing. I'm not laughing.
It's not a real thing.
It's not a real thing.
That's not a real thing. And go ahead and let's put up image number 8 one more time. Because I want to read it for people listening on the audio version. Is Kamala Harris not an American black, considering that her parents are Indian and Jamaican? And it says, no, it's not true. While racial definitions in the United States are controversial, the federal government's definition of black, quote, black or African American, end quote, includes persons, quote, having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa, ... and Afro-Caribbean entries, such as Haitian and Jamaican, end quote. This is stupid.
Yeah.
This is so stupid. Not only does this clown, Alan Duke, who I've been going back and forth with over email, not only does he admit that racial definitions in the United States are controversial, but he's applying a strike to our page for a statement we didn't even make.
Right.
He fact-checked someone who said she's not black, and he said, nope, she's black. We made the statement she's not African-American. She can be black, but that doesn't make her African-American. Keith, I was telling you this earlier when we were talking. This reminds me of grade school. When you're in math class and you're learning your shapes, and the teacher says, okay, kids, just to let you know, a square is a rectangle. A square is a rectangle where all four sides are the same length. But rectangles are not necessarily squares.
Correct.
Because rectangles can have sides of differing lengths. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't a square. This is what I feel like this is all about, right? African Americans are black. But if someone identifies as black, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're African American. This isn't, he says it's controversial, but this isn't nearly as cut and dry as they're claiming. And I'm emailing him back and forth, and basically, I don't want to share too much of it, but I asked him because I said, hey, we didn't post that she's not black. You got to retract your thing, because our page is monetized. When we put videos, there are ads on it, and it helps our organization raise money.
Correct.
People's livelihoods aren't dependent on that ad revenue, but impacted by it.
Yes.
When you apply a fact check like that to something we didn't say, you put our monetization on our videos in jeopardy, which can potentially impact people's livelihoods. During a pandemic, during a recession, you don't play games with that. So I basically explained to him, we didn't say she isn't black. You cannot fact check us and say that we were wrong to say she wasn't black. And he responds to me at midnight last night saying, if you make a correction, we'll lift it.
Correct what?
Now, I'm sitting back saying, what did we correct? We didn't say she wasn't black. We said she wasn't African American. How do we correct a statement that we never made? And he's going back and forth, and eventually he emails me this, and I'll read it. Eventually I get tired of not getting an answer from him, and I say, hey, listen, Alan, I'm not a mind reader. You're going to have to tell me what you want us to correct. And he said, I don't expect you to be a mind reader, but I expect you to read our story. And he's contending that African American and black are synonyms. So I sent him back a very simple email. I said, Alan, your position is that black and African American are synonyms? Is that to suggest that you contend that when government forms like the census have boxes where people can check whether they're Native American or Alaskan Native? Is that to suggest that the "or" in that phrase means Native Americans and Alaskan Natives are the same? I mean, this is stupid, Keith.
Yeah, he's a liar. It's okay. You can call him a liar. Everybody that's listening knows that he's a liar. He's a partisan political hack. He's an entertainment journalist who probably makes his earning by...
He's from CNN. He has a history at CNN. We've been fact-checked by other reporters at this LeadStories.com who used to be entertainment gossip reporters.
Yeah. Well, he's at CNN.
Really
he works for CNN. So his job is to lie to the American people on a daily basis. He's a liar, right? Look, I've read the emails because we work together, right? I've read the emails. The dude's a liar, right? And he's been caught in a lie, right? He's been caught in the lie. And now what normal people do with any sort of semblance of morals, right? They would say, you know what? What you said is true. I will take away the strike. We've actually had conversations with Facebook before where they've literally said that to us.
Yeah.
Right? We got fact checked. This is a true story, by the way. We got fact checked because we posted a video from YouTube that was talking about a UFO. A UFO is an unidentified flying object. There was a video posted on YouTube where the guy was talking about this weird thing that was flying around the ISS, the space station.
Yeah.
Right? So we posted it, and we got fact-checked because it wasn't a UFO. So he literally asked. No. Listen.
It was unidentified.
No.
They said it wasn't a UFO in the context that it wasn't aliens flying around in their little saucer.
But we never said it was aliens. We said it was a UFO. So then we had a comment. We escalated. write the fact check to Facebook. They responded, and we told them this is BS, right? And they responded with, "You're right." Right? We got fact checked.
Yeah.
I joked the other day, Max. I joked the other day because I shared a picture of a helicopter dropping. It basically said, "Here's the next step for removing the Myshirona right? And it was a helicopter basically dropping like water, but we put a picture of Lysol on it. And then I as soon as I posted it, I was like, Facebook's going to fact check because somebody's actually going to believe that there are helicopters flying around dropping Lysol
on the world will not cause coronavirus.
Right.
I want to also put this one up because, well, we could talk through the other times that this organization has fact checked us, and it's to the point where this is really wrong what they do. And I don't want anyone to go to their website. So we have a bunch of
don't go to their website.
Screenshots, so we don't have to give them any clicks, any ad revenue. They don't deserve it. LeadStories, it's the name of the organization. They are a fact checker approved by Facebook. And the way they work is they have algorithms designed to find conservative posts that go viral based on the number of people sharing it, liking it, commenting. And when they see stuff going viral, they work tirelessly to find something wrong with it that they can use to call it fake news. It's not legitimate what they do because they're actively searching for viral political posts. They're not just saying, "Hey, this looks wrong." They have algorithms out searching for it. So it's very shady what they do. And if you go to their site, it's obvious the way they're slanted. The fact that they fact checked us by saying, "No, Black and African American, this is what it means," but they didn't fact check Joe Biden when he said you're not black if you don't vote for him. Very strange. But I want to put this up because this is what really concerns me. Let's put up image number 9. This is the census document that organization, LeadStories, is using. So when they say that the United States government defines someone as black, African American, they point to census documents. This is the census document. And as you can see, as I mentioned when I wrote the email, American Indian or Alaskan Native are separated by the word "or" as well. And that does not necessarily mean that they are the same. It just means that they are close enough that they would rather put them in one box than to have to make the form longer. What really concerns me, Keith, is that we have 3 options. Well, actually 4. We can sue them, I guess. We can sue them and fight it. Yeah. But to get it resolved today, because they're contending that we spread fake news, we have 3 ways to get out of this. And I want to keep this image up there. Look at the box under 6. There's white, and then the census form has combined black, African American, or earmuffs everyone, Negro. I don't use that in any bad context. I'm just reading it off the form. Government forms still allow you to take a census and consider yourself to be a Negro. Not using that in any harmful or racist terms, just reading off the thing. The problem I have is that because they've structured this fact check in a way to rely on government census and government definitions, the way to correct our post is to do 3 things right now. To call her black, which we never contended, and I'm out of principle, I'm not going to call her black because that was never part of it. She's black. She's black. With a Jamaican father, she qualifies as black. We can call her African American, which I vehemently disagree with because her father came to this country from Jamaica. She is 1 generation removed from the island of Jamaica. That does not make her, in my opinion, in the opinion of many people, African American. Or, Keith, apparently I can get the fact check removed by editing that post to simply say Kamala Harris is a Negro.
That would not end well.
It wouldn't end well. It'd be horrible.
Yeah.
We'd be run on a rail.
Yeah.
That would be a violation of Facebook's terms of service. But when they're telling us to correct something that we didn't make any mistakes, based on the argument they're making, that would be something that would be okay with them, I guess. I mean, this is how crazy we're getting with this. We can go ahead and take that image off now. This is how crazy we're getting with this. And this is LeadStories. Don't go to their website. Don't give them any more likes or views. Do share the video though. Do share this live stream because we're already seeing that our total reach is being capped because yesterday we got a false fact check. So make sure, please, if there's any day to share it, please hit the share button. Please hit the like button. Please comment.
Hey, Max, do you think that
Yeah.
LeadStories fact-checked CNN's coverage of Kamala Harris's coming out as the VP candidate party yesterday, where she lied and said that it was Donald Trump's fault that millions of kids can't go back to school? I mean, she said it. Those were her words. Yeah. That's a lie.
They didn't fact check Joe Biden for saying that Donald Trump said KKK members are good people, which is factually inaccurate. Donald Trump did not say that.
Right. She called Ebola a pandemic. It's not, right? It was an outbreak.
Yeah.
The World Health Organization, our friends over at the WHO, they classify it as an outbreak, not a pandemic. So she lied. Look, if you want to be pedantic, right? If you're looking for a reason if you guys are listening and you're wondering why we're so fired up, Max talked about it a little bit earlier. You're messing with the livelihood of all the people who work here, right? And you may not think it's a big deal, but it is a big deal to us, right? But we're talking about the pedantic nature. This guy is lying, right? And this is not the first time we've been fact-checked by some moron who's lying.
Well, it's all this. It's every time. Right? It's their organization.
Right. So, Max, if they were neutral arbiters of truth, right?
Yes.
Then you would take Kamala Harris's her statements from yesterday and you would fact check them as false.
Yep.
I will be eagerly awaiting the fact check of Kamala Harris. I don't want to say her name wrong because I understand that that's really bad, right?
It is very bad.
I will be patiently waiting for those pages to be fact checked, right? Because what she said yesterday was not true. Not true.
Well, this is what gets me. This organization, LeadStories, has fact-checked us 3 times. 3 times. Every time they fact-checked us, it has been over a disagreement with one word.
Correct.
One word. And this is how it works. They fact-checked us first in March over one word. That reduced our reach for a couple of months because they had labeled us false over one word. We're going to play that in a second.
Yes.
Right as we start coming out of that throttling, we start picking up steam again. The next time one of our articles goes mega viral, they fact check us again, disagreeing with the use of one word. Mm-hmm. We had to go to Facebook to get that fact check removed because it was so ludicrous. They didn't even respond to the email that I sent them disputing it, which Facebook says they have to do per the terms of their fact checking agreement. So we go to Facebook, they remove it, our reach starts going up again. And they fact-checked us yesterday over one word. I want to play the clip that they fact-checked us over back in March. It's short. It's Joe Biden sitting on a Whataburger talking to Beto O'Rourke. After a rally. Let's go ahead and play cut 1.
This guy can change the face of what we're dealing with regard to guns, assault weapons, with regard to dealing with climate change. And I just warning Amy, if I win, I'm coming for it.
So we heard that. We didn't take that video. We heard that, and I said, wow, in the context of coming for assault weapons, he just said, we're coming for him. I heard it as we are coming for 'EM, meaning your guns. This organization, let's go ahead and put up, I think, is this image A? Image A. This organization, LeadStories, decided that was fake news because they listened to that same clip and they determined that he did not say we're coming for him. Instead, he believed that he said we're coming for him. But this is what we got from them. We got false. This is misleading as Biden never said he was, quote, coming for people's guns. That was their original title. But their title was false because as we covered in other podcasts just a couple of months earlier, Joe Biden said, I'm coming for them. People's assault weapons.
Look.
So let's go ahead and put up image number 1.
Yeah.
Put up image number 1, Mr.
Beto said it in a debate. Every sentient human being understands what he was talking about because you watched. He said it out loud.
This is important. So they fact-checked us saying that we got it wrong, that we heard it as 'EM, but they heard it as him. They heard one word differently, but they changed the fact-check title. So the title we got, let's go ahead and put up image A one more time. The title we got when we were fact-checked for this was that this is misleading, as Biden never said he was coming for people's guns. They had to change that because their headline was false.
Yeah.
They had to change it because the headline was false. He had previously said it. Let's go ahead and put up image number 1 again. They had to change it to this. Fact check. Video does not show Joe Biden promising that if he wins, he's coming for your guns. And their interpretation was, oh no, he didn't say he's coming for your guns. He just said he's coming to get Beto O'Rourke to come into his administration to come for your guns. Like, this is how stupid this fact check was.
Yeah.
That's how stupid this whole thing was. Let's get the other fact check out of the way real quick. Let's put, where is it? It's image number 4. No, 3. Image number 3. Wrong one. Image number, where is it? Oh, image number 2. Sorry, I'm all over the place. We have lots of images today. Image number 2. We put an article out that the United Nations had ordered Trump to stop violating the rights of Antifa protesters, peaceful protesters in Portland. And they said that's incorrect. The United Nations does not have the power to order the United States to do anything, they say. That's technically not true. But let's go to image number 3. They actually posted the same source that we did. And in this source, a spokesperson for a UN organization used the words must and should to describe what the United States should do. We interpreted the words must and should to be a demand, of which a synonym is order. But because the word order didn't actually appear in that, they fact-checked it as false because the United Nations did not order anything. And let's put up image number 4, the bottom of their fact check. This is the most ludicrous part. They claimed that the United Nations Charter specifically states that the organization has no authority to intervene in any country's government. That is factually false.
Correct.
And the source that they provided says nothing contained in this charter shall authorize the United Nations to intervene in matters that are within the domestic jurisdiction of any state, ... But this principle shall not prejudice the application of enforcement measures under Chapter 7. So their fact check is wrong.
Yeah.
There's literally an exception that says, oh, wait, we won't do it, but technically there's an exception that allows us to technically interfere in another country's affairs. Even when they fact check, and I want to put this up. Let's put up image number 5. That fact check, I'm really angry today. That fact check was written by this woman, Alexis Tereshchuk.
Yeah.
I probably mispronounced her last name. Seems like a nice woman. She is an entertainment reporter. Mm-hmm. She worked for Radar Online, US Weekly. She was a talking head on celebrity gossip shows on TV. She was on a British royalty gossip show special as a talking head, investigated Hollywood stories and conducted interviews with A-list celebrities and reality stars. And she's fact-checking me about the United Nations Charter, and she got it completely wrong.
Well, yeah. Of course
Why did I go to graduate school if a damn entertainment reporter is able to get it wrong and take what I write off the internet?
Look, in between the time when she has 5 minutes of downtime between talking about Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle, right? She's also an expert on foreign policy, right? She's an expert. Yeah. She's an expert on a broad swath of political viewpoints, understanding.
Medicine,
She's probably a doctor of some sort, right? Which makes her. Time. Oh, I mean, just imagine after you get done writing the latest heavy-hitting piece of investigative journalism on Suri Cruise, right, and what she wore to the store, right? Then we've got to continue the mojo into our discussions about the UN Section 1 Charter, but leave out Section 7 that actually says that they can actually do exactly what she said that they can't do. But that would require some semblance of critical thinking. Just go back to taking pictures of Meghan Markle. Just please, just go back to doing that.
Or talking about it. Listen, anyone can talk about anything they want, but it doesn't make them an expert. And the fact that this woman has been empowered to be, as I said in the beginning, the arbiter of truth for Facebook, that if she disagrees with what you say, you potentially no longer have an income source on Facebook.
Correct.
You no longer have the right to share your opinion if this entertainment journalist disagrees with what you said. So we're gonna get in. I have like 30 more screenshots. We're going out. We're going all in. We're gonna show every single. And I just went the past like 7 days. Like,
I know.
like 30 screenshots for the last 7 days. We're going to get into it, but we have to take a real quick break and play an ad from our sponsor, ACE Scholarship. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Opened my eyes and nothing was like before. Graduation, prom, hanging with my besties, those safe faces, safe places, rooms where you would test me. 2 square meals a day, gone.
And we're back from that quick break. Again, go to ACE Scholarships, acescholarships.org, and check out our sponsor. They're a really good organization. Okay, we're going to go right into this. Put up image number 10. This is another fact check that LeadStories put out this week. Fact check, Kamala Harris said she believed women who said they felt uncomfortable by Biden's touching, not the rape accusers. So a lot of people on social media have been sharing the video of Kamala Harris just simply saying, I believe them, the women who were accusing Joe Biden. At that point, all of the accusations had only been sexual harassment. One of them later expanded on her story and said, no, actually, he raped them. He raped me. So this fact check is that Kamala Harris only supports Joe Biden sexually harassing women, not raping them. That's their fact check. Like, just think about how stupid that is. It's just how eager to defend Joe Biden you'd have to be to actually publish that. Let's put up image number 11. This is where they literally, they're literally going through it. Like, I believe Biden's accusers. They literally say that she believes them. So she believes that Biden sexually harassed people. But because at that point Tara Reade had not leveled the allegation of rape, she had leveled the allegation of sexual harassment. So Harris believed her then. She later changed her story, expanded on it, to say, actually, not only did he harass me, he raped me. He digitally penetrated me. The fact that I know what that means now, I hate it.
Yeah.
That was her allegation. So Kamala Harris believed Tara Reade when she said that Biden was sexually harassing her. But the fact check is, oh no, but she actually doesn't believe her when she says he raped her. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here, folks. These people are partisans. They're going out of their way to try and help Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. The number of fact checks yesterday, Keith, coming out in defense of Kamala Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Stunning. Let's put up image number 12, and then I'll get your response to this. Another fact check. Fact check. Kamala Harris descended from a slave owner, but it's not, quote, an inconvenient part of her history, end quote, or a, quote, deep, dark secret that could come back to haunt her. So this organization, Gateway Pundit, great site, they posted the article detailing that Kamala Harris's father has multiple times written that his family is descended from slave owners, that she didn't come from slaves. Well, I guess she could have come from some people that are slaves, but she has a direct lineage to slave owners on the island of Jamaica. The Gateway Pundit posted that and then said in their own editorial opinion that this is an inconvenient part of her history and a deep, dark secret that could come back to haunt her. They were not wrong that Kamala Harris has a direct lineage to slave owners. But this fact check, again, this clown, Alan Duke, rated this as false or partly false. Either way, rated as false because he disagrees with the opinion that it's an inconvenient part of her history, and he disagrees that it could come back to haunt her. This is an opinion writer masquerading as a fact checker. That's not a fact that you can check. That's someone's opinion. That if more people heard this, it would come back to bite her. The fact that the notion that he's fact checking it to get it taken down from Facebook shows that he agrees that if people saw the narrative that the Gateway Pundit was building, it would hurt Kamala Harris. Yeah. And I love the graphic, no dark secret.
Right. It's not a dark secret. And somebody who is a political party that is solely focused on race, right? Using the phrase, this could be inconvenient, right? For a party that's solely focused on race, right? Fact check, false. This guy is such a slobbering, lying tool, right? Look, he's a partisan political hack masquerading as an opinion journalist, masquerading as a journalist, right? That's why he has a job at CNN. That is the.
We had a job. I don't think he has one there anymore.
Well, shock. This is my shock face.
That's his claim to fame.
Right? I mean, ridiculous. This whole thing look, these fact checkers, these quote unquote arbiters of truth, these independent thinkers, right? They're going to have a whole lot of work to do between now and Election Day, because I remember 2019. Believe it or not, listeners, there was actually years that have gone by where the sole focus wasn't the color of your skin and a virus. And the one that was most recent was 2019. And throughout 2019, starting in January when she announced her run for the presidency, she said some of the dumbest things I've ever heard a human being say ever. And I have little kids, right? Yeah. She said some of the dumbest things ever. I guarantee you this, Max. I bet you this is possible. This will happen in the next 80 some odd days. Somebody will actually play a clip of her saying something in an interview, in a debate, right? And it will get fact-checked as false because the next day she says the exact opposite. Yeah. She is the epitome of a political opportunist. I guarantee you right now, she will say something on Monday, quote unquote. She'll say the exact opposite on Tuesday, right? And then a fact checker will get mad because they want the thing on Tuesday to be true, or the thing on Monday. And if you post either of them, they'll both get fact checked as false because you said the exact opposite of the thing. Look, it pays to be a Democrat because you can just say the most asinine things that you could possibly come up with, and then you have slobbering water carriers like this moron, right, who will defend you to the hilt. It must be so fun. Yeah. I couldn't even tolerate looking at myself if I ever consider myself a Democrat, but it must be an easy life. Or it's actually a really difficult life because I don't know what it feels like to loathe yourself that much that you could actually walk through that. You're Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption crawling through half a mile of shit, right, to come out on the other side because you just believe whatever you have to say, you'll say it. Pathetic human being this guy is.
Lovely rant, but we got to keep going because we have too many fact checks to fact check and not enough time. All right, Mr. Producer, let's play cut 3. No lead up. Just let's play cut 3.
But the Chinese, what they said is China would prefer Joe Biden. Whether they do, that's their conclusion, that they would prefer Joe Biden.
That's a clip of Nancy Pelosi saying that the intelligence establishment has concluded that China would prefer Joe Biden to win. That's a factual statement, right? When the intelligence community releases their Russia assessments, media has no problem saying, "Oh, it's conclusive. It's conclusive. They said that Russia is interfering. It's conclusive." Let's go ahead. I find the right number. I have so many damn numbers. The next one, where is it? It's I'm getting all confused now. Should be 12. No, not 12. 13. Image number 13. This is the fact check that they came out with for that video. Fact check, Nancy Pelosi did not confirm China would prefer Joe Biden because she didn't say those words. She did not say, quote, confirm China would prefer Joe Biden. She confirmed that the intelligence establishment has confirmed, but because she didn't say confirmed and because they cut the clip off a little bit too much, they ruled that this was fake, that this was false. But if she went out and said the same things about Russia, they would have no problem with someone saying, "Oh, she said it. It concludes it. It confirms it that Russia's trying to impact the election." And the media had no problem running with that story last week, right? It's so nakedly political. Let's go ahead and put up image number 14. We're on a roll. Let's keep doing it. Fact check. A person cannot vote multiple times in Michigan using absentee ballot applications for previous residents. So someone posted on Facebook that they had received 5 ballots to their address from people that used to live there. And he said, quote, "I received 5 ballots today. 4 are for people who lived there 7 years ago. I could send all of these in and receive 5 ballots to vote. This is why we shouldn't have mail-in voting." Now, that is factually accurate. He could possibly send all 5 in, and he could get them back and be able to vote. But this, again, it's the entertainment reporter, Alexis. She concludes that that's not true. She concludes that that's false. Let's put up image number 15. And this is why. She called the Secretary of State, Michigan Secretary of State, and asked, is this possible? And the guy says, no, it's not possible because we check signatures. And yet the record is littered with examples of people casting fraudulent mail-in ballots because the signature check is not foolproof. But the reason that that is false, that they rated that as false, was because they asked Michigan Secretary of State, hey, is it possible that if someone turned in previous residents' ballots, would they be able to cast a vote on their behalf? And the Michigan Secretary of State just said, no, can't happen. Not possible. Even though it very much is possible. And the guy who wrote it, he said, I could, saying that it's possible. But these fools, again, an entertainment gossip reporter, has ignored the word could and fact-checked that as false.
Mm-hmm. Look, the comment section is lighting up right now with the fact that you and I need a drink. I wholeheartedly agree.
I do.
I wholeheartedly
need a
agree.
drink.
Mr. Producer, I need a drink.
And get me a beer. She can't hear me. She can't hear me. Let's keep going. Image number 7. Wait, don't want to go too fast. Image number 16. Image number 16. Joe Biden has not promised to outlaw gas-powered cars if elected president. Let's go to image number 17. The reason for that is that his policy, if enacted, would make it impossible to have a gas car eventually. It'll eventually make gas cars so obsolete you won't be able to use them. But because he didn't use the words outlaw gas-powered cars, they rated that as false. Let's keep going. Image number 18. I got these for days. No evidence President George H.W. Bush ever said Americans would, quote, lynch us, end quote, if people knew what his administration had done. Now, I agree. That quote is definitely inflammatory. It's definitely one of the more controversial ones that we're covering today. But I want to talk about why they rated it false. Let's put up image number 19. They tracked it down, and they found that the quote was attributed to a woman named Sarah McClendon. She was a reporter. And the people who say that he said it trace it back to reporting that she did. They couldn't find the reporting. And Sarah McClendon, unfortunately, has passed away in January of 2003. So because they couldn't find that quote anywhere but what they call conspiracy stories and posts, they're rating it as false. They didn't actually disprove it. They just didn't find it. I mean, at least Snopes, when they cover these kinds of things, say unproven. They say unproven with it. These clowns at LeadStories just said, oh, well, we looked. The person the quote's attributed to died 17 years ago, so we can't ask her. So that makes it false. Bye-bye your livelihood. Bye-bye your ability to use Facebook. We know better than you. It's false. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. That's what we're actually dealing with here. It's making my blood boil. Oh, my wife is texting me. Do I want a beer? Yes, please. She's watching it downstairs. I mean, it's just so annoying because that's not a fact check. Right. They want it to be false. You can't say it's false unless you can prove it's false, right, Keith?
Right. There's a difference between facts and opinions. And opinions should be based on facts. You should come to conclusions and you should hold opinions because they're based on factual information, right? Like the sky is blue, unless the sky is on fire, right? The sky is blue. Grass that's healthy is green, right? You may find healthy grass.
Sometimes, Keith, the grass has gone to hibernation mode, and it gets brown, Keith.
Hey,
sometimes healthy grass can be brown, Keith.
I was about to say,
false.
Healthy grass could also be like a yellowish tinted brown. And that's also, if it turns gray, it's dead. By the way, if it turns gray, it's dead, right? But it's an opinion, right? These are opinions. Oh, I'm jealous. I see that you have a beer, and Mr. Producer has not produced anything of the sort for me.
Want to hear something funny? So I'm in front of a green screen right now. I'm drinking Rolling Rock, and the beer disappears.
Oh, Rolling Rock.
How awesome is that?
That's so good. Rolling Rock has some of the best commercials ever from the 90s with Jim Gaffigan in them. I know, 33 and a half. It's fantastic stuff. They're probably on YouTube somewhere. Okay, but the point
as
is,
an aside, I have no idea where this Rolling Rock came from.
I don't. I'm jealous.
I didn't even know this was in the house, and it's cold, which is even more confusing.
Oh, wait.
You're getting a beer too?
Yes, hold on. Yes, this is so good.
Oh, it's funny.
Okay, look, back to my point. You can fact check facts, right? That's what the scientific method is meant to do. You come up with hypotheses and theories. Those are opinions. These are the likelihood of this happening is based on the best information that I have. And then, right, things become law. They become facts because that is the outcome that's going to happen, right? 2 + 2 is 4. Yeah. That's not racist for me to say.
No, sometimes.
Stop it.
That's actually, there are people that claim that 2 + 2 is 4 is racist.
You stop it.
No,
okay?
I'm going to get it. No, it's a real thing.
I know I understand, which is why I'm making the joke, because you stop it right now. Okay? Look, facts are facts. Okay? And just because Joe Biden chooses truth over fact, right, does not mean that you should be going around fact-checking people because your opinion differs from theirs, right? If you say something and it's true, then your job is to come up with a counter, not just rip it off the internet or take it away from somebody because you say so, right? You should be forced to compete in the world of ideas. That's your job, right? And now I need a drink.
Annie's saying in the comment section that I almost got a Lone Star, but she dropped it en route. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the Rolling Rock. I didn't know we had any left. It's always nice to find a surprise beer. Anyway, we got to keep going because we're going to run out of time. Let's put up image number 20. We got a lot of these. This is from... Okay, fact check. Tom Hanks did not flee to Greece to hide from Epstein-related prosecution. Pedophilia is not considered a disability in Greece. Now, this is another thing. Let's keep this up. Again, we have our wonderful entertainment reporter talking about Greek pedophilia laws. I didn't know she moonlighted as like a Greek historian. Very interesting. This is another thing that they do at this site that I want to call attention to. It's that they'll take a couple of claims, 3 claims, and they'll combine them into one article so that if they prove 1 or 2 of them is false, they can prove them they're all false. Okay. So in this case, they're doing 3 things. They're fact-checking whether Tom Hanks flew to Greece to hide from prosecution, whether pedophilia is considered a disability in Greece, and whether Greece has an extradition treaty with the United States. Now, those last 2 are false. Greece does have an extradition treaty, so if you post that they don't, that's false. Fine. Pedophilia is also not considered a disability. They floated the idea for a while, but amazingly got shot down. Yeah. So if you say that pedophilia is considered a disability in Greece, that's also false. But the fact check does not prove that Tom Hanks didn't flee to Greece to avoid prosecution. That nowhere in the article do they actually prove that. But because they've lumped it in with 2 other easily provably false things, they've said, oh, no, well, it's clear. We declare it. Tom Hanks might have fled the country. He might have gone to Greece. He might even be under investigation. But there is no proof that it's all linked. No evidence. It's just their opinion. Yeah. I mean, this is stupid.
This is the same lady that I bet you would write a story about celebrity A dating celebrity B because she saw them out at dinner. Right? Fact check false. Chris, in the comments, Christopher says, snow is cold. Fact check false because if you heat it up, then it's hot.
Well, fact check. Sometimes when you touch it, it's so cold it feels hot. False.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we're gonna skip. Well, no, let's go in order so I don't mess up the numbers. Let's go to image number 21. This is a claim that Donald Trump put out an ad that claimed Joe Biden was alone in his basement, and it said, "Fact check: Joe Biden was not alone, nor was he in his Delaware basement." An image altered for Trump ad. Wow, that's really sinister. Let's go ahead and put up the image from the Trump ad. Let's put up image number 22. This is I mean, it's funny. It's funny. Listen, we know that Photoshopped and doctored stuff gets put into these ads as B-roll footage. That's how they were able to get the footage of Paul Ryan pushing Granny off a cliff. He didn't actually do it, folks.
No, he didn't.
It was a stand-in. Yeah. Didn't actually do it, but they weren't fact-checked amazingly. Let's go ahead, and I had to number this 22.5 because I didn't want to renumber everything. This is the photo that it was taken from. So he's in a basement. They're right. He's in a basement with other people. It was Photoshopped to make it look like he was alone in the basement. Because right now, actually not right now because he's with knee pads. Normally, Joe Biden is in his basement all alone. So they don't have B-roll footage of that. So they made it look like he was all alone, which is fair. Campaigns do that all the time. But they actually fact-checked a campaign ad for the president by saying that that was a different basement. And when that photo was taken, there was other people there. Let's go ahead and put up image number 22 one more time. No shit, Sherlock. Look at the other knee in the picture.
You can see his hands too.
Yeah, they didn't even completely Photoshop it to make him look alone. Like, no shit, Sherlock. You could see the other person's knee in the picture. And like, oh no, I said he was completely alone. Let's put up image number 23. Fact check. DreamWorks giggling sing Poppy troll doll not designed to groom young children for pedophiles. But Hasbro has discontinued the toy after uproar.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know this, there were Trolls toys that they put out, and literally in the genital area of the toy, there was what can only be described as the giggle button, where if you push that, they start making excited noises. And people said, whoa, that seems a little freaky. Why are you teaching kids to push buttons in the crotches of troll dolls? Like, what could that? And people said, well, maybe potentially it could be someone who wants to groom kids to think that it's okay to touch people in their crotch. Listen, as weird as it sounds, there are people out there.
Yeah.
Part of grooming is teaching young kids that there's no problem if they get touched in their private areas, right? That's what groomers do, pedophiles do, because when they go for it all in their mind, they want the child to be so conditioned that he doesn't cry out for help. So when people say, wow, that looks like it could be evidence of grooming, fact check, it wasn't. Why wasn't it?
Because we
put
said
up
so.
image number 24. They reached out to Hasbro, and Hasbro confirmed it was not for grooming. That's it.
Yep, way fair.
They admitted it was inappropriate. We recognize that the placement of the sensor may be perceived as inappropriate, but it wasn't intentional. So obviously, if you accuse anyone in the design process of being twisted enough to do that for purposes of grooming children, it's a lie because we say it didn't happen.
Good smile.
No proof.
Yes.
We don't even tell you who was working on the project for you to investigate whether they are registered sex offenders. We're not going to do any of that. We say it didn't happen, so it didn't happen. Oh, if you say it didn't happen, we're going to get taken off Facebook. Because it didn't happen. But we're also pulling the toys off the shelf because it didn't happen.
Right. Correct.
There's no giggle switch on the butthole, even though there technically is. It didn't happen. That's what we're dealing with, folks.
I can't.
That's what's going on.
I agree. I agree. They actually, you guys, look, we did an episode of, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, and this was all over the comment section. So you just validated the folks in the comment section, our top fans. They were talking about this. I'll go back and pull screenshots. They were talking about it. The Hasbro doll, the troll doll.
Yeah, the troll dolls. It's a real thing. Like, oh yes, we agree that putting a giggle button on a doll's genitals could be conceived as inappropriate, and we understand that you could be concerned that it's grooming, but we're just going to say it's not true, and therefore if you post it on Facebook, your whole account gets taken down. You're not allowed to have that opinion. You're not allowed to hypothesize it. We're not going to actually investigate it. We're just going to say it isn't true. Let me take a sip.
Yeah, you need to take a drink. That's the coolest thing. Your can
yeah, no,
like
isn't it cool?
disappears into the
can
ether.
disappears because of the green screen. I love it. Okay, Keith, do you know who Sam Hyde is?
No.
Let's go ahead and put up image number 27. We're going to go slightly out of order. Sam Hyde is a comedian. And for whatever reason, the internet, whenever there's a tragic event, a school shooting, no one really knows why. But whenever there is some kind of tragic shooting or bombing, the internet puts out fake news reports saying that Sam Hyde is being sought in connection with it. He hasn't done anything wrong, right? He's just like a right-wing comedian. But for years, this has been going on for years. He has been at one point or another blamed for every mass shooting in this country. And it gets to the point where major news organizations actually pick it up and report it. Oh, we hear that the authorities are searching for Sam Hyde. It's a meme. It's satire. It's a joke. This LeadStories did not understand the joke. Let's go ahead and put up image number 25. Fact check. Sam Hyde is not identified as the perpetrator of Beirut explosion. And then right over the image, not Sam Hyde.
Oh,
no,
Alan.
that's not true. That's not true. Alan Duke. Wow, amazing. We got to keep going, though. Let's put up image number 26. This is what someone posted. It's literally called Licensed Memes. The Beast of the Bod meme. I don't know what that means, but it's literally a memes page. And they've created this meme to say that the New York Times and the BBC are both reporting that Sam Hyde was identified as the bomber in Beirut. Now, anyone who knows what's going on with this knows that it isn't, right? The only people that get tricked into this are the idiots at that point. But apparently, LeadStories isn't in on the joke yet. Let's go ahead and put up image number 28. Because if you go to Licensed Memes, the Beast of the Bod meme, and you look at their meme, it's false information. Because Sam Hyde, according to LeadStories, did not bomb Beirut. Even though it's a meme page, they've rated it as false. Now, I know what you're saying. Wait a minute. Put up image number 29. Wait a minute. Facebook exempts opinion and satire and jokes from fact-checking.
Right.
How did LeadStories get away with hurting the livelihood of a meme page by rating it as false when it was clearly a joke? How did they get away with that? It's a very good question. It's something we're going to be asking our rep at Facebook. Because LeadStories, so many of these fact checks, again, I'm going to say it, we're going to have to label this as explicit, they're bullshit. Anyone with half a brain knows that was a joke. The page is literally has bod meme in it. Everyone knows it's a joke.
It's like
except for
Alan
LeadStories.
Duke. Except Alan Duke.
Right? Alan Duke, yeah.
But this is the guy, I'm going to get fact-checked for this, but he's the guy who would pick up the Onion. He's the guy who would pick up the Babylon Bee and fact-check the Babylon Bee. He'd fact-check it because it's so hurtful and hateful. I mean, that is, so you fact-check a meme, right? Like I said to you earlier, right? I wouldn't be shocked if my Facebook page was gone because I posted an image of a helicopter dropping liquid out of the bottom of it, which is clearly them doing some sort of either crop dusting, probably not, or fire, putting out wildfires.
Yeah.
And it's replaced with Lysol, a picture of Lysol, and says the next great thing in killing the Myshirona Shmiris. Right? I would be shocked, or wouldn't be shocked, if that was fact-checked as false. Helicopters are not being deployed across the United States to drop Lysol on the population to kill the virus. Thanks, Alan Duke. Thank you. I am now better off as a human being because I've met you.
All right, we got one more. Image number 30. This one actually isn't all that crazy. I mean, it is. Fact check, face masks do work, period. Written by someone named Dean Miller, and he says that face masks do work, period. The inclusion of a period suggests that the argument is over. If that was the case, why are scientists still experimenting with whether face masks work? I mean, Dean Miller says that they do. So we can tell the CDC, we can tell the World Health Organization, we can tell the individual scientists at accredited universities and college labs, we can tell all the state labs, stand down. LeadStories, they put the word period spelled out. It's over, folks.
Done.
It's over. Let's go ahead and put up image number 31. This is their explanation for it. They called up someone at Washington State University College of Medicine. They said he's a fellow at the American Academy of Family Physicians and has had 50 articles peer-reviewed. They asked him, is this true? Are masks not effective at either preventing the spread or the contraction of the coronavirus? And he said, quote, none of the studies reviewed showed a benefit from wearing the mask. So they say, oh, that's wrong. You can't do that. And they even quote the authors of the place that they're fact-checking. Quote, there is some evidence to support the wearing of masks or respirators during illness to protect others. And public health emphasis on mask wearing during an illness may help reduce influenza virus transmission. There are fewer data to support the use of masks or respirators to prevent becoming infected. Something that many scientists and doctors have actually said. But they labeled it as false. because they said that it's false. It's false. Put that up one more time, Mr. Producer.
But if it's false,
not only did they label it as false, they also accused them of plagiarizing and reported the couple of sentences that they say they swiped. They reported it to the newspaper, and they encouraged the newspaper to take legal action to defend their copyright. That's a fact checker, folks. They're not just the arbiters of truth and justice. They're also the defenders of copyright everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's one thing if they're saying we disagree, we think this is wrong. It's another thing to reach out to someone and say, hey, I think that they actually stole your work. You might want to go prosecute that. You might want to go sue them. That's not a fact checker. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You did take crazy pills. You did. And
Maybe.
not only did we end the article with period, right, the statement.
Yeah.
Then we also said in our fact check that we will follow up on this if more information comes
we'll
to
follow
light.
up. So if they're proven wrong, they'll admit it.
Yeah.
As we've shown, they've changed their headlines when they're proven to be bullshit. If they're proven wrong, they admit that they'll change it. But they won't go back and lift your false rating. They don't do that.
No.
Once you're false, you're false.
Correct.
Even those things can be developing. And I just love this. I went to Vox. I said, let's go to a liberal site and see what they're talking about with the masks. And they had an article that said masks work. But they also had this caveat in it, which I thought was very fair. Let's go to image number 32. This is from a faculty director at the Harvard Global Health Institute, Ashish Jha. I probably pronounced that wrong. They said, quote, the evidence on masks is getting better and better. None of it is bomb-proof evidence. It's not a large randomized trial. But given that that's unlikely to come, we're now at a point where it's really very good evidence. So when hydroxychloroquine doesn't have the large randomized placebo-controlled trials, it said, oh, we don't care what those other studies say. It's fake news. You can't say it's effective unless you have the large placebo-controlled randomized trial. If you don't have that, it's fake news. You can't say hydroxychloroquine works. But when it comes to masks, we're just going to admit that it's unlikely ever to have a large randomized placebo-controlled trial for mask effectiveness in either the transmission or the contraction of the virus. We're just going to go with the smaller studies.
Did these people never take a 7th, 8th, or 9th grade science class where you learn about the scientific method? What you just showed, number one, I can't believe you went to that site because I just feel dirty and I need a shower after you read it, right?
Yeah.
But when you go to that site, that's actually a true statement. She's basically talking.
It's fair.
They're acknowledging the limitations in the available evidence / data, right? Which means that the scientific method says the inverse could also be true. That's what hypothesis is, right? This is not a fact. Masks do or don't work is not a factual statement. It is a hypothesis, and whichever one makes you feel more comfortable, fine. But because somebody believes something that you don't does not make them false or fact check rated false because they say something that makes you uncomfortable. That's not how this works. Unless you're a fact checker on Facebook, then the only opinion that matters is your opinion, right? Because you get to decide. You are the arbiter of truth. You get to decide what is and isn't a fact, even though all you are regurgitating or reciting is your opinion.
Yeah. So Ashish Jha is the faculty director of the Harvard Global Health Institute. And the reason that I wanted to track that person down is because Dean Miller, the man who wrote this piece for LeadStories, his claim to fame, what they present to prove that he's important, he knows what he's talking about, is that he had the Harvard Nieman Fellowship. Yeah. So that's his claim to fame. So he has Harvard in his name, in his bio. That means you can trust him. But when other Harvard people say, well, yeah, it's iffy. And listen, if we're going to say that the preponderance of evidence suggests that masks work and it's a really good idea to wear them, that's fine to say.
Yes, absolutely.
But to say that, period, it's settled science, when there are active scientific trials and studies going on right now, to say period and to have that be classified as a fact check. No, it's period. Period. Any further discussion, fake news. It's cancer.
Correct.
It's cancer. We've seen how, and Keith, that's the last one we have to go over today, but that was just the last 4, 5, 6 days on this site, LeadStories. Please don't go to their site. Don't give them ad revenue. Don't give them any clicks. Just don't bother with them. Their page has like like 18,000 likes on Facebook, and everyone who comments says that they're full shit. So don't even bother going over there. There's nothing good over there. But I bring this up because it's obvious that Facebook has gotten it wrong. The fact checkers that Facebook has trusted to be the fact checkers, they got it wrong. Facebook's system, if anyone doesn't know, if you get fact checked by one of these websites, you don't actually go through Facebook. When we reach out to our Facebook rep, we're actually going outside of their rules.
Correct.
But we have to in cases like these because it's just so ridiculous. Facebook's system is that if LeadStories fact checks you, you're supposed to email them and either admit you're wrong or try to convince them that you're right. And they will lift the fact check if you admit you're wrong, or they'll lift the fact check if you admit you're right. You're not going to be able to convince LeadStories that they're wrong. I just described earlier in the show, I've been emailing this guy for the last couple hours trying to understand why he thinks black and African American are synonyms, when it's so obvious that it's possible to be black and not be African American. It's so dumb. But as long as he's entrenched in that viewpoint and that opinion, our page will continue to be throttled. Because that's what these fact checkers are. They're opinion writers. They're giving their opinion. Because Alexis, entertainment reporter, love her, great work on the royal wedding. Fabulous work. I actually went back and watched it. It was good work.
Yeah.
If that's what you're into, good work. It's good work if you can get it. But that doesn't make her an expert to fact check someone on the United Nations and then get it glaringly wrong. Right? Alan doesn't get to, or anyone doesn't get to watch a video that we watch, conclude that one word in the whole video is different, and then say, oh no, false. We're going to throttle your page because of it. Because you heard a video and you wrote down the transcript wrong, one word, you're getting throttled. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here, folks. Let's just state it for the record. Our opinion, and it's based on a lot of evidence, is that Kamala Harris is not African American. She is black, but she's not African American. Her father is Jamaican. Her mother is Indian. She is a black woman of Caribbean descent. She may determine that she wants to be African American because it suits her politically, just like she got sworn into the Senate as the first Indian American senator for the right?
That's true.
It fit her politically.
That's true.
And she's allowed to, if she wants to identify tomorrow as a man, go for it, Kamala. At least 40% of the country will support you.
Yeah.
Right? But that doesn't make it a fact. And it doesn't mean that if you disagree with her, you deserve to be removed from the internet, punished, have livelihoods threatened, and have to come groveling to these arbiters of truth and say, hey, I really messed up. I really messed up. Please don't take my business away.
Right.
I'll say that she's black. I'll say she's black. Just don't make me lose my ad revenue.
Right. So look, you're right, Max. And I just, as I get my parting word, I'm just going to reclaim my time. Russell made a comment in the Facebook section, right? And he says, so many people hating on Facebook whilst using Facebook, right? And then he gives the little sort of smiley winky face. I think that's what it is. My eyes are bad. Look, Facebook calls itself a platform. So we're not only on Facebook. Max will go through the litany of other places that you can find our podcasts. You can find our website, right? He'll talk about all of that. Facebook is just one place where we share, our content, where we have this podcast. This is in other places, right? But you don't abandon the public square, right? Because the public square is a public square. Facebook literally calls itself a platform. So you should be able to, outside of inciting violence and supporting terrorism, there are limits, right? You should be able to have the free exchange of ideas. That's the point of a platform. That's the point of Section 230, right? The reason that we're talking about it is because Facebook is one of the vehicles we use to share information. It's not the only one that we use. It's one of them that we use. So it is important that when they are breaking or going against their own stated purpose for existing, that we point it out. Because the more we point it out, right, the more other people are going to see the same things. They're going to start having a conversation. This is how ideas and public policy thoughts actually come into fruition. Not because you say so with a hammer, right, but because you are freely exchanging in, right, the commodity of ideas. Facebook is supposed to be a platform where if we say something, right, that is not inciting violence, which we didn't, right, or recruiting for terrorism, which we're not, right? Then it should be a place where we can share our message without opinion writers telling us we're not allowed to talk. Look, I don't want to spend a bunch more time on it because I'm just going to end with the thing that I always end with. Information is king. Other people's opinions, right? Other people's opinions, that's fine. Have your opinions. I have mine. You probably agree with some of them and you probably don't with others. That's fine. But if we were ever going to talk about it, I would listen to your opinion. I would listen to the rationale as to why you had your opinion. And if I chose to agree with it, great. And if I chose not to, great. But what I wouldn't do is walk around telling other people, right, that they're not allowed to hear your opinion. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Alan is a water carrier, and he's a liar, and he's ridiculous.
It is. And people are saying, why are we on Facebook? Because Facebook is where we have the ability right now to reach the most people. You can also find us on Parler at Conservative Daily. Follow us there. We'll follow you back. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on a bunch of different places. We have a link in our description. I'll end with this. Please, please, please do go to the link and join our email newsletter. If we end up getting taken down off of Facebook because we're not going to apologize for saying Kamala Harris isn't an African American, that email newsletter is the way that we'll still be able to reach out to everyone and let people know when our podcast is going live, things like that. So there's a link. Please do sign up for the email newsletter. As stupid as it is, we're now one strike away from being taken off of Facebook because we said Kamala Harris is an African American. Didn't say she isn't black, just said she isn't an African American, which she's not. She's Caribbean. Her dad's Jamaican, right? She can't trace her lineage back to United States slaves. I mean, that's the traditional definition of African American. It's the reason that black even exists, because not every black person in America is an African American. So please do go in and like our page, follow our page if you're seeing it for the first time. Go and join our email newsletter. Hit the share button, hit the like button, comment, because this is a conversation that needs to be had. Facebook has given far too much power to these fact check companies. I put the poll results up. Should Facebook's fact checkers have this much power? 98% of you said no, 244 people, and 5 of you, 2%, said yes. So it's pretty solid among our audience, but make sure that you share the video so that people who aren't exposed to how ridiculous this is can see it. So hit the share button, like the video, and leave a couple comments. We also did have a winner for our t-shirt yesterday. I've reached out to her. Her name is Maria. Haven't heard back from her. I'm going to give her a little bit more time. If she doesn't get back to us, we'll pick another person. So we'll be able to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. But we did have a winner. I was just hoping that she would respond. So that's going to be it for this edition of the podcast. As Keith mentioned, you can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts if you want to get it downloaded right to your phone. Google Play Store if you have an Android. Find us on Spotify, on TuneIn. All different places, all in the description. So check us out there. You also find us on the Podbean app, as well as conservative-daily.com. So check us out there. As I said, we're on Parler at Conservative Daily. Follow us there. Happy to follow you back. And yeah, just thank you for watching. Please do share this. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting for what's obviously right. And thanks for everyone for having our back in this. So again, my name is Max McGuire. Thank you to Keith Jones for filling in for Joe Otto, who's not feeling well today. Remember, everyone, that the fight to take back our country clearly isn't over, but the only way we win is if we all stand and fight together.